Who's the richest person in history?
If someone with an average salary wanted Elon Musk's net worth, they would have to work for 8 million years.
Jeez.
That's 30 times longer than human beings have existed. And in the time it's taken me to tell you this, Elon has made another $100,000. But the craziest thing about Elon is that he's not even the richest person in history. He's actually not even close. If you look back in time, there are people that make Elon look broke. So let's go find the richest human to ever exist. Starting in the late 80s.
Yo, chat, imagine having 400 billion, bro. I think I'd go crazy. I think I'll go insane.
Colombian billionaire who revolutionized the energy supplement industry. Huh? Pablo Escobar. He was...
Oh my God, Pablo. Wait, Pablo Escobar was richer than Elon? Pablo Escobar, 420 million a week.
Colombian billionaire who revolutionized the energy supplement industry.
I knew he was making money, but wait, he was making $1 billion every 2 weeks. Oh my God.
Pablo Escobar. He was raking in 420 million a week, but his net worth after inflation only reached 80 billion. So on paper, he's not even beating Elon. But
oh wait, yeah, he's not richer than Elon. 80 bill. What a poor guy.
Unlike everyone else in this video, Pablo's wealth wasn't tied up in stocks or politics. He just had literal dollars. He was spending $1,000 a week on rubber bands just to hold them together, and damage to them cost him $2 billion a year. So Pablo wasn't the richest person in history.
Wait. He lost $2 billion a year from his money getting ruined. Oh my God.
Overall, but if we're talking actual cash, he probably was. But let's go back in time to see a very different kind of wealth. The year is 19...
Well, yeah, that's the thing with like all the richest people in today's world. They don't actually have, like, they're not rich on cash, are they? Where like Pablo Escobar, he just had straight up cash. Like all the richest people in the world, they have like, they're rich from their company price.
45. World War II just ended, and in America, millions of soldiers are coming home. They'll return to a blue-collar economy, where families can be supported on a single income. The American dream is alive and well. How's everyone else doing? It's in these ruins where we'll find one of the richest men to ever live. Joseph Stalin, the communist ruler of the Soviet Union, was uninterested in money. He had practically no personal possessions outside of his pipes, books, and plain military tunic. He did live much better than his citizens, having access to things like food, but he wasn't basking in luxury. His pay stubs show him making today's equivalent of 30K a month, but according to his son, he just let the checks pile up on his desk, and he probably didn't even have a savings account. The reason Stalin is considered one of the richest men in history, despite technically having no money, is because he didn't need money. He already owned the entire state. Doing anything that questioned his power, even something like telling a private...
Wait, but there's many people in history that's owned massive areas. So how is he on the list of the richest?
A joke would get you gulagged or executed. Stalin had so much control that after he had a fatal stroke, no one called a doctor for 12 hours because everyone was too scared of Stalin waking up and punishing them for acting without official orders. So despite being broke on paper, Stalin had complete control over an economy that would today be worth $10 trillion. See, in order to find the richest person in history, we need to think bigger than just money. Every person in this video will represent a different time period.
How have you just shot him up 10 trillion just because he owned an area? Like, loads of people's owned areas. You know what I mean? Like, think about Genghis Khan. If he's 10 trillion, Genghis Khan must be, but I don't know, a number after trillion.
And a different form of wealth, whether it be political power or cash or company equity. And in the end, only one will be determined as the richest person in history. So let's move on to our next contender. In 1909, Adolf Hitler was homeless. God. He had moved to Vienna to pursue his dream of becoming an artist, but things weren't really working out.
Wait, that's actually a true story, isn't it? Wait, chat. Because I've not really seen too much details of it, right? I just know it is like... Didn't he get rejected from like art school? And then that's what butterfly effect, bro. Did he, like he was gonna go to like art school and he got rejected. So then he just went, well, we know the path he went. Bro, that's a crazy butterfly effect.
He got rejected from art school and found himself selling small paintings and postcards just to get by and sleeping in hostels. Then, after fighting in the First World War and beginning his political involvement, he attempted to forcefully overthrow the government, which got him locked up for 9 months. Hopefully, he'll use these 9 months to...
Yeah, not happening.
Mein Kampf. Upon release in 1925, the Racism Manifesto met with mediocre sales. But as Germany's situation declined, Mein Kampf's popularity grew. And when Hitler took power in 1933, the book was everywhere. It was also around this time when Hitler realized he had access to developer commands. He instructed the government to buy 6 million copies of his own book and hand them out to soldiers, government officials, and newlyweds. He then avoided a $2 million bill.
Wait, that's actually a smart idea, bro, chat. I might release a product, and then when I get in power, make the government buy millions of the product. So then I'm rich and then I can leave the government. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm the best selling author on the planet.
By making himself tax exempt. His next lick was copywriting his own image, which allowed him to collect royalties on every postage stamp sold in Nazi Germany. Then he copyrighted his speeches so he could collect money when they were printed in the news. These passive income streams made Hitler millions. By the end of his life, Mein Kampf had sold around 10 million copies, which actually isn't an insane amount. For reference,
wait, I'm actually surprised he went that route and just like copyright his thing and he didn't just demand it. Like, Hitler being Hitler, why didn't he just demand it? You know what I mean?
Was outsold 3-1
so like he was a good guy.
Frank, but Hitler did have one last side hustle. Between 1933 and 1945, it was estimated that he received over $5 billion in donations from his supporters, most of this coming from wealthy businessmen. It's impressive how much personal money Hitler was able to milk out of his position, but his real wealth came from his military might. At its peak in 1942, Nazi Germany controlled nearly all of Europe, stealing hundreds of billions in resources and putting millions of people into forced labor. So through his conquests, Hitler commanded resources worth $3 trillion in today's dollars.
See, that baffles me. How Hitler's 3 trillion, but Stalin's 10 trillion. I don't understand. I don't get how Stalin is 10 trillion. I don't get where we got that number from.
But before dictators, there was a man building a very different type of empire. Henry Ford had a revelation. If you pay them more and let them sleep, your slaves won't revolt.
Isn't Henry Ford still alive now, though?
In 1914, Henry made the radical...
Oh, wait, no. If this is 1914, he's definitely not alive. Jesus.
...decision to double wages from $2.50 to $5 a day. He then cut the work week from 6 days to 5 days. After seeing the operations of meatpacking plants, Ford organized his workers in a line, an assembly line. What resulted was production time for the Ford Model T dropping from 12 hours to 90 minutes. Prices dropped from $850 to $290. And for 50 years, the Model T was the most sold car in history. But Ford's greatest invention wasn't the assembly line or the Model T. See, after Ford made automobiles accessible to the masses, people began moving outside of cities and driving back and forth to work. And after the success of Ford's mass production methods, they were widely copied by companies and countries. The suburbs, commuting, and the modern work schedule...
Wait, Henry Ford's not richer than Elon Musk, though. And he's definitely not in the trillions.
...all be traced back to Henry Ford, which is why many credit him as the inventor of the middle class. So despite his measly $200 billion personal net worth, Ford's massive influence might make him the richest person in history. But Henry's success was only possible...
Wait, I feel like we've got different looks on money. Yo, I ain't gonna be surprised, yeah, if like on one of this lists, yeah, we're gonna be like, yo, so this guy's only worth 2 billion, but because he's the first person on the planet with a 25-inch cock, he's pretty much worth 200 trillion. Like, bro, so he's like, so he's not the richest. He's not.
$100 billion.
There's loads of people richer than 200 bill.
Personal net worth, Ford's massive influence might make him the richest person in history. But Henry's success was only possible thanks to the men who came before him.
Yeah.
It's the late 1800s. The telephone, telegraph, and light bulb are currently being invented. Pollution is awesome. Child labor is legal. Yes! Regulations don't exist. Long hours and unsafe working equipment give employees a healthy work-death balance. The stage is set for maximum capitalism. Three men would define this era. The OG being Cornelius Vanderbilt, who conquered the railroad industry and died with more money than the US Treasury. The next was Andrew Carnegie, who made a fortune with steel, then devoted the rest of his life to philanthropy. And this was during a time before charity tax advantages. He actually meant that shit. But the richest of the three was John D. Rockefeller. In 1870, John founded Standard Oil. He quickly curb-stomped his competitors through innovation and screwing them over, and by the 1880s, he controlled 90% of America's oil refining. But his empire fell in 1911, when the US Supreme Court declared Standard Oil an illegal monopoly and ordered it to be broken up into 34 new companies. This judicial punishment destroyed Rockefeller's fortune, and he ended up dying in poverty. Just kidding. After the
I was going to say there's no way.
breakup, he had ownership in each of the new companies, and their stock values soared, making him richer than ever before. The antitrust breakup resulted in Rockefeller becoming the world's first billionaire, and at his peak in 1913, he was worth 2% of the US GDP.
Holy shit.
Estimates of his personal worth in today's dollars range from 4 to 600 billion, making him potentially the richest person ever. But before the robber barons, there
well, he's not the richest person ever, mate, is he, Jeff? Because we got Hitler and Stalin in the trillions, bro. He's actually a broke boy.
Before the robber barons, there was a family who bankrolled entire empires. The year is 1744. The United States doesn't exist yet. The life expectancy is 30. Cities are full of shit. There's no electricity. In a small Jewish ghetto,
Yo, chat, I got a question, right? Would you rather be in the royal family back in like the 1400s or some shit, yeah, when everyone's dying from diseases, you don't have like your TV, you got disgusting, you might have good food, but you're a part of the royal family, you're living in a nice castle and you can boss people around, or be a, you know, a broke person in today's world? Do you know what I mean? Or just an average person in today's world? Would you want to be a royal family back then, or just average in today's world? Average to that? Average to that? Yeah. As much as I would like to be King Lou, there's no way, bro. It was too brutal back then. And there's no McDonald's either. So maybe if they had a McDonald's, I might, but yeah, I'd be average in today's world.
Here, Amschel Rothschild is born. He starts in
aren't Rothschild like the hidden people? Well, not the hidden people, but like, they're like the people that control the world without people like really knowing about them. But people do know about them. But it's like a conspiracy, which I'm now adding to it.
He starts in business at a young age, working his way up from being a rare coin dealer to a successful banker. Then in the early 1800s, he launches a conquest. He sends his 5 sons to the 5 key financial centers of Europe. Every son does their part, and before the invention of the telephone, the Rothschilds have established the first international banking network. They finance wars and peacetime recovery, pay for massive projects like the Suez Canal, and give out loans that save countries' economies. But the Rothschilds have one serious problem. For centuries, Jews in Europe had been prohibited from owning land, blocked out of most industries, and at risk of property confiscation or exile. So in order to ensure their survival, the Rothschilds invested in stocks, bonds, and debts, rather than just tangible assets like gold or real estate that could have been taken or destroyed. Another method they used to ensure their wealth stayed within the family, the cousin technique. Through financial tactics and incest, the Rothschilds...
Oh my god. Here we go. Bro, is this like a common trend of the royal families and rich fuckers? They just entwine with the same family? Is that the key to success? Is that the key to success, chat? So if you want to be successful, you just gotta fuck your cousin. Or just marry your cousin. Is that what it is?
Rothschilds managed to mostly avoid persecution, but the extent of their wealth today is widely debated. Some estimates have claimed the Rothschilds have a current net worth of $500 trillion.
There's no way.
But
bro, there's no... Bro, what even is 500 trillion?
Net worth of $500 trillion. But the only Rothschild you'll find today on the Forbes rich list is Jeff Rothschild. He's worth $3.2 billion.
Wait, yeah, that's broke. Why is he not up there then? Why did not on like why does nobody know their actual money or their net worth?
works at Facebook, and he is not related to the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds no longer have much centralized family wealth, but at their peak, their total worth would have been the largest single fortune in history. On an individual level, the richest ever was Nathan Rothschild. According to estimates, his peak net worth today would be around 20 billion, but his power and connections would likely have been worth a lot more. To find our next contender for the...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you was hyping him up like it was gonna be a crazy number. 20 billion. You can't even buy some sport teams nowadays with 20 billion. The fuck you gonna get with 20 bill, bro? 20 bill. I thought this guy was gonna be a mighty couple trill.
Richest person in history, let's go back to Europe in the 1500s.
Hey, listen, right? You start to do my head in a little bit, yeah? Because the next person, you keep saying the richest person in history, and then you keep lowering the fucking number. I'm a little bit confused. Are we back to front here? Like, what's going on? He's gonna show his 5 bill or something, man. I don't want to see peasant money. I want to see some big bucks.
Christopher Columbus just got back from America. The church owns everything. And Jacob Fugger is born into a wealthy German family. After inheriting the family business, Jacob starts expanding it from merchant trading to banking. And soon he's handing out massive loans to finance everything from art projects to wars and elections. In 1519, he's...
Hey, this is a common theme right here. Financing wars. Hey, does anybody need $200? I don't know. If you need $200 to punch a guy, let me know. I don't know. That might get me up the ladder. I don't know. I might just start giving people money for their wars, for their battles.
Spent the modern equivalent of hundreds of millions of dollars to get Emperor Charles V elected. But when Charles was slow to pay back his debts, Jacob sent him an angry letter reminding him of his place.
It is well known and clear as day that your imperial majesty could not have claimed the Roman crown without my help.
History repeats itself. Church officials ended up getting in so much debt to Fugger that they started selling heaven passes, called indulgences.
Oh my god, I'm telling you right now, during these times, if I was alive, I'd be the richest motherfucker on the planet. The amount of heaven passes I would be selling is crazy. And not only that, I'd also sell hell passes for my freaks out there. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to the night bars, I'll go to the crack dens, and I'll be selling the hell ones too. Bro, I'd be so rich. I'd be so rich.
Called indulgences. This led to a protest, which led to a religious revolution. Fugger had more influence than kings.
Why has he got a cock shield? They had that? What is this? What is this cock shield? What is this?
But he was also a nice guy. He made the first ever social housing complex, and to this day, 150 people still live in these apartments at the cost of $1 a year, as well as 3 required daily prayers for the Fugger family. At his peak, Jacob owned 2% of Europe's GDP, which would be around 400 billion today. But the richest person in history may have been further back in time.
Yo, how many times are you going to tell me it's the richest person in history, bro? Actually show me the real, like the richest.
In 1324, a man went on a pilgrimage across Africa. His name was Mansa Musa.
Alias, thanks so much for telling Alias.
He was the king of the Mali Empire. Mali had a lot of salt and a lot of gold.
Okay.
A lot of gold. So much gold that on Musa's pilgrimage, he covered himself, his 60,000 person entourage, and his hundreds of animals with thousands of pounds of gold. And then he handed out so much of that gold that it destabilized local economies. So he borrowed the gold back, which fixed the problem until he paid all the debts back at once and everything crashed again. After Musa's multi-billion-dollar road trip, he began showing up on maps decked out in gold, cementing his reputation in history as the original flexer. But estimating his net worth is borderline impossible, since all accounts of Musa's trek come from secondhand testimony. It's believed that Musa controlled about half of the world's gold supply, and the most common number—
Yo, half of the world's gold supply. Hold the fuck up, I'm gonna do some maths real quick. Hold up, let me just work it out in my brain. I'm gonna work it out in my brain. Hold on, I'm working it out. So if a gold price is $20 per this, then there's 2 billion something like this. Round it to the closest. Then pi equals m squared equals 2e squared. Yep, and then calculating gold. Then we got this and this. Then yo, why is ChatGPT taking so fucking long to... Bro, it's been on this for about 20 minutes, mate. Yo, Hey, it's that much gold, even ChatGPT can't figure it out. Oh, here we go. $14.3 trillion. Oh my God.
I found for his total worth was 400 billion, but many numbers went much higher.
Half
so
the
based on
world's
the
gold
amount of
supply is
valuable resources under
14.3
his
trillion.
control, Mansa Musa may be the richest person in history. But go back 100 years and there was a man with a very different kind of wealth. In the early 1200s.
Oh, this motherfucker. Okay, yo. He might be classed as the richest person in history. PJ 10,710 Isn't it like 10% of all men in the world have DNA linked to him? Like, he pretty much owns us all still. Oh, it's mad. Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan controlled more land than any man in history. His Mongol Empire covered almost 20% of Earth's land area, making his estimated net worth today 130 trillion.
Yeah,
but this is slightly misleading. Genghis never really had much wealth of his own, and this was actually vital to his influence. Rather than taking for himself, war loot was redistributed to soldiers and commanders to promote loyalty. Genghis wore the same clothes and ate the same food as his crew. He slept in tents and asked to be buried with no markings or signs. Genghis Khan didn't really have desire for personal wealth or possessions, but based on his control of land, he may have been the richest guy to ever live. But let's go even further back in time, to the year 1.
Okay, you're just gonna show me Adam, aren't you? What? So Adam's now the richest person in history because he had a fucking apple? Is that what it is? And then let me guess, this is Eve next to Adam. Is that what it is? He had an apple, and the apple was worth gazillion. To be fair, that apple in today's world would probably be worth trillions. You know, if that was like, that apple was in the museum, that would be the most expensive artifact on the planet.
AD. The people alive right now have no idea that they're living through a turning point in history. They actually don't even know what year it is. Romans think that it's year 754.
Wait, what?
Jews think it's 3761. The Chinese think it's year 9. And for the Greeks, it's 194. Every country is kind of doing their own thing. America is building early cities thanks to the Mayans. India is trading through the ocean and Silk Road. China just invented paper. And in Rome, Augustus Caesar is balling. A few years prior.
Wait, you're telling me Adam and Eve isn't year 1? Did we just get the fucking timeline back to front? I feel like you start number 1 at the start, no? Adam and Eve isn't year 1? What is year 1 then? Oh wait, that does make sense. The world is not 2,000 years old. Year 1 was Jesus? Oh. All right.
He defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra in battle and snatched up Egypt as his personal property. He now controls around 20% of Rome's economic output, and that includes the tax flows, the treasury, the gold and silver mines, and revenue from conquered lands. He also has a money method where he kills rich people from his own empire just to take their stuff.
Well, how does he have a gun and a nice fucking watch? I thought this is 2,000 years ago, buddy.
After Caesar passes in the year 14, he officially gets declared a god with an estimated modern day net worth of $5 trillion.
Bro, you cannot, yo, fix your goddamn rich list. I've had enough. Okay, right, nah, listen, this is pissing me off. How is Stalin richer than a god? Than a god? How? It don't make sense. Stalin's worth 10 trillion. A god is half that. In what world? In what world?
But let's go back another 900 years. Civilization is in its early stages. Most people live short, difficult lives. Money in the form of coins doesn't yet exist. King Solomon rules over the kingdom of Israel, collecting gold by the ton. His yearly tax revenue is 666 talents of gold. He basks in his riches with his 700 wives, and in today's money, he's with his 700 wives.
Holy. Bro, how did he even get to old age? Surely he would have got like chlamydia like fucking within the first year or something. Like surely. How? 700 wives. Holy fuck.
And in today's money, he's worth over $2 trillion. But
you're telling me a guy with... Nah, I'm done with this video. You're telling me a guy that has 700 wives is only 2 trillion? Bro. Yo, what? Why does he love Stalin so much?
And in today's money, he's worth...
How is Stalin 10 trillion, but a guy with 700 fucking wives is 2 trillion? Oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, what? The 700 wives spent the money? Oh, that does... Hey, listen. Hey, listen. I feel it with just Izzy. She's not even my wife yet. Right? And I feel broke. Never mind. 700 of them. Holy shit. Holy. Imagine getting McDonald's for 700 wives. Oh my God. That'd be how much? That'd be like 100 grand a day. Oh my days.
Over $2 trillion. But this is all according to accounts in the Bible, written hundreds of years after he would have lived. When we're this far back in time, details get murky. Written accounts are sparse and incredibly biased.
Yeah,
the richest man from ancient times will never really know. So, who is the richest person in history? Looking at this graph, it seems like there's a lot of people who make Elon look broke.
Looking at this graph, it looks like you've literally pulled the numbers out your asshole when you was high one day. Like, I'm like this... This, it's not adding up, mate. Like, we've got a god there that looks broke to Stalin and like.
But these numbers don't tell the whole story.
Tell me about it.
Hear me out. In 1913, John D. Rockefeller was worth 2% of US GDP. Today, Elon Musk is worth 1.4% of US GDP. So Rockefeller had a larger share of the economy, making his inflation-adjusted net worth higher than Elon's. But here's the catch. The US economy today is 22 times larger than it was in 1913.
We've just created a black hole now. We've all been sucked in and gone. Well, honestly, I feel like I'm high right now.
Rockefeller had a bigger slice of a much smaller pie.
Okay.
Estimated numbers don't tell the story of how the entire world has become more and more prosperous over time. Elon is now the biggest fish in the biggest pond that has ever existed. On top of this, his wealth is a personal fortune. It's well documented and...
Well, I don't know. I don't trust these numbers no more because a few weeks ago, I heard that Elon Musk got overtaken by some dude I never even heard of in my fucking life. Like, how does some dude out of nowhere just like, boom, I'm richer than you now, motherfucker. Some guy that owns Oracle. I don't even know what Oracle is. What is Oracle? Are they selling heaven passes? Like, bro, what is going on? Like, how do people just come out of nowhere? They're like, boom, I'm now the richest in the world. Like, huh? What the fuck? Oh, is that who it is? Larry Ellison? He's been around forever as a tech billionaire? I have no clue who he is. It's a database company.
Verifiable,
don't know what it is.
Ancient figures like King Solomon. It wouldn't disappear if he lost his positions of power, unlike dictators and heads of state. He can access it for whatever he wants, and he harnesses technology that ancient figures would think is witchcraft. Elon is the richest person in history, with his 400 billion today. Eventually, someone will get even richer.
So he's the richest in history.
Everyone else will get richer too.
So, buddy. We started this video saying Elon Musk is the richest person, but then said there's 10 other people after him that are actually richer than him. And then we got to the end of the video, and now you're telling me that Elon is, in fact, actually the richest in history? Well, then why didn't you just say that at the start? We learned some new things there. We learned some new things. He's got to be the Rothschild, right? They tell me on TikTok all the time that they control the world.